What's a very disturbing fact almost nobody knows? There's 21 to 46 million slaves living right now. Any further info on this? Mauritiana. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that like 4% of the Mauritanian population is enslaved. That means about 160,000 slaves. Yikes. Edit. The enslaved population of India is about 8 million. 0.6% of the population. In child porn cases, someone has to actually watch the video beginning to end so they can testify about it in court to seal a conviction. A friend of mine works for the federal government and his job each day is to watch child pornography so that they can prove that the person was in fact creating or distributing child porn. It's a fucked up job. Do they give him any therapy? I'm not super sure. I know that he has to do evaluations every once in a while to make sure he's still fit. He does say that statistically most people in the position only last 3 years. They get paid horribly to do this job, so there's not much incentive to stay. I know for him each time they catch a person makes it very well worth it for him. In the UK they have what they call sanity screens running at the same time. They can pause the video and look up at the sanity screens. They are live feeds of everyday life. People going about their lives, shopping, things like that. It's so they can take a break and look at something normal. In 1977, the average life expectancy in Cambodia was 18.91 years. That's because the Khmer Rouge killed anyone who wore glasses. Because that meant they knew how to read and therefore were a bad intellectual. Glasses and or a watch actually meant that you weren't a simple peasant farmer to the Khmer Rouge. I'm late, but the average adult male has a biting force high enough to rip someone's throat out with their teeth. Found Greg Grimes. This scene was somewhat disturbing, but also kinda cool. It used to be believed that babies as old as 15 months couldn't feel pain. As a result, doctors would perform surgery without anesthesia. Doctors used muscle relaxants on the infants to prevent squirming, essentially paralyzing the babies for the duration of the procedure. How long ago was this? Reports indicate that this continued up until the 1980s. As an infant in the late 80s, I fell and split the top of my scalp open. Local doc refused to numb my skin BC. According to him, babies that little, I was maybe a year old, if that, don't feel pain. I'm very glad I can't remember back that far because it would probably have really fucked me up. This is ridiculous. My daughter dislocated her shoulder at like 9 months and she screamed bloody fucking murder. Oh, it's absolutely bananas that anyone, especially a trained medical professional, would think it, let alone act on it. Due to fresh drinking water being so scarce on the Galapagos Islands, some bird species, such as the Galapagos hawk, have adapted by drinking the blood of other animals. The original Gatorade. Approximately 2100 children are reported missing every day in the US, or 1 every 41 seconds. On the bright side, most will be returned unharmed. On the bleak side, the survival rate very rapidly declines over time. On the even bleaker side, in the cases of missing young adult men in the US, there's fair chance a missing individual will be ruled deceased after a rather short search with minimal evidence. Even if no body is found, generally it's labeled as deceased due to natural causes, i.e., drowning in any nearby source of water, getting lost in any nearby woods, just getting lost anywhere and dying, after which the search is completely abandoned. Yeah, the whole 48 hours rule is pretty disturbing. Mission goes from rescue to recovery terrifyingly quickly, even though abduction is top of the heap for bad scenarios. It surprises a lot of people that a good portion of those missing kids are special needs children that literally just wandered off into the world, and as you said, die somewhere alone. I can see why parents look into locators and other ways to keep tabs on their kids' location. Around 17 milliliters of human blood can substitute for an egg in baking. Finally, I can make a decent souffle for my vegan GF. The Romans used to torture people by having goats lick their feet. Goats like salt, so they would soak their feet in salt water. Eventually the goat's tongue was rough enough that the skin would wear away. Then you'd have a wound with salt trickling in. At first I thought you meant that they would soak the goat's feet in salt water, game a goat's bath water, Baphomet Delphine. Organophosphates, including the chemical weapon sarin gas, work by inhibiting your muscles' ability to relax. Your muscles basically constrict and can't unconstrict, causing what feels like a muscle cramp through your entire body, your arms, your chest, your eyes, your tongue, everything. It most frequently kills via asphyxiation. Because you can't exhale, surviving means a permanent, irrecoverable loss of motor function, even with rapid medical treatment. Also originally discovered while chemists were trying to make a more effective insecticide. I'd say they succeeded. A toddler's adult teeth are right below their eyes. I just looked up a picture of a toddler's skull and all I gotta say is what the actual F. Oh crap. So did I. https://www.com/r/interesting-facts/comments/8pj_cvx/a/childs_skull it //shows//baby teeth //with the slash https://reddit.com/r/interesting-facts/comments/8pj_cvx/it_child_teeth_with_the/. Thanks, I hate it. One of the first symptoms of heart disease can be sudden death. It's funny, because it can also be one of the last symptoms. Yeah. The symptoms will last for the rest of your life. According to the FBI, over 40% of murders go unsolved, meaning if you get killed, there's a pretty good chance the person who killed you will not spend a day in jail. Bad news for you. Good news for me. A vitamin D deficiency can make you suicidal, and deficiencies among adults is very common. Like more than 50% of the population in the US. My vitamin 500th number was single digit when I went to see my doctor because I felt depressed. I now take a big weekly dose along with diet change and sunlight to feel normal. If I hadn't gone to the doctor when I did, I might not have been able to face another winter. Mine too. My doctor was shocked and said it was the lowest he'd ever seen. It's crazy how much it makes a difference mentally. Shout out to everyone facing their sad season. We've got this. There are 8 nukes that are missing all around the world. Oh, that's actually not all of them. There's a grand total of 51 nuclear weapons lost in the world. 40 Russian, 11 American. One of them is apparently half a mile off the coast of Georgia, and the city of Savannah is within its blast radius. The lost Tybee bomb named because it was dropped off coast of Tybee Island, which is incredibly close to Savannah. We don't know if the bomb is actually capable of nuclear detonation because it might not have a core, but then again it might have a core and be able to go nuclear. We don't even know if it's still there. One fisherman claimed his net got caught on something a few days after the bomb was jettisoned. Some believed it to be the bomb. Another report is that the Soviets found it and took it instead. Most likely though it's there and not nuclear capable. Even then it still has a ton of conventional explosives in it that could go off and maul the area it's dropped at. The first face transplant was for an 8-year-old girl named Sandeep Kaur, who got her entire face ripped off by getting her hair caught in a thresher in 1994. The parents came in with her face in 2 pieces in a plastic bag. The transplant was a success, and the girl grew up and is studying medicine. Serious question, is it a transplant? If it is your own tissue, isn't it just reattachment or autologous transplant? I think it'd be called an auto transplant instead, but I could be wrong. When a woman with breast implants is cremated, the implants will melt into goo. It drips to the bottom of the furnace and needs to be cleaned up once cooled. The dolphin who played Flipper committed suicide. Wait, what? Heartbreaking. On average, 30 people die in the US annually in elevator-related incidents. This is my worst nightmare. If you really want to lose sleep at night, consider elevators at Houston Street, Joseph Hospital, which have a history of injuring people, including decapitation of one surgical resident in 2003. Jesus McFuck. They need to fill that elevator shaft with cement and holy water. There's only one reason DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, is dangerous and is the model chemical for why you wear gloves around all solvents. DMSO absorbs straight into your body and into your bloodstream immediately upon contact. It won't kill you at all. It's completely safe on its own, although huge excess is probably not good. It's what DMSO might have in it. It dissolves both polar and non-polar things like water or fats respectively. So you could dissolve a totally harmless to touch chemical that is only dangerous if it gets into your bloodstream. In DMSO and never know. It also makes it an effective delivery method for medicines that you can't eat. Maybe because you're too sick to keep anything down. Bonus fact. You'll know if you've touched DMSO. If it touches your skin, your mouth will immediately taste like garlic. There are strains of Crebacteria that are resistant to all known antibiotics. This is one of the most disturbing comments here. I've said it on here before, but it still disturbs me to think about. More eels have a second set of jaws and teeth inside their throat. They'll latch on to prey with their primary jaws, and then the second set can move forward and either latch on and pull the prey down their throat, or eat away at larger prey without having to let go. Creepy as fuck. Xenomorph much? The inspiration actually. So yes, kinda. Turkeys love the taste of their own kind so much that they will cannibalize themselves while they are still alive. They're the cinnamon toast crunch squares of the meat world. Got an unusually high rate of birth defects, cancer, and other horrific maladies in your city's population? Surprise. There's a good chance your city is located on or near a Superfund site. Right square bracket. Great, I live 7 miles from one. I've got like 10 in my area. For those curious, I live on the border between Washington and Oregon, near the city of Portland, Oregon. Using the map at the bottom of the page, one found almost 10 dots in my area, though most are green. I think that's a good sign. Searching manually, I found that there was a dump directly in my town where there was dangerous chemicals dumped into the Columbian River. Non-avian dinosaurs did not go extinct immediately at the asteroid strike. There would have been a period when the survivors kept on slowly declining in number, starving to death, before being able to mate and produce offspring. Hidden Valley Ranch is owned by Clorox. I'm sorry, what? My dad, very smart man, who had a tough childhood and had a latter start to his career, worked at a local grocer for a few years in his 20s. Figured out that basically 6 companies make everything you see at a grocery store. Probably fewer now,